What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to a new video, and today we are talking about an article that IGN have posted, but information that I've been sitting on for the last couple of days. This is Crystal Dynamics, a developer behind Marvel's Avengers, has confirmed that the PlayStation exclusive SpiderMan DLC, which is coming to the game obviously, will have story content and cutscenes when it makes its long-awaited debut. Now, before we get into this, I do want to explain why I held off on this information a little bit, because I was actually in the Discord conversation as this was mentioned. Simply for the reason being is that, like, I didn't want to kind of take a developer's words on Discord and just go and make a video on them, because it felt a little bit intrusive. But I'll be honest, like, after seeing all these articles, after seeing, you know, all of this stuff, after seeing it just come out anyway, you know, all I'm doing is affecting myself and affecting my ability to communicate with you guys about this information if I hold myself back. Was anything, you know, the developer made me do, by the way? I'm just explaining context as to why this video wasn't out like 2 days ago. So as spotted by me, Crystal Dynamics senior producer Dan Matlack responded to a fan's question on the official Marvel's Avengers Discord server that asked whether or not everyone's favourite webhead would come with his own storyline. And this is the quote: "Spider-Man is what we call an event, so we will have cutscenes and a story for sure." Now, as we know, we've had events in the past that have just been mission chains, no story to them, like, really, you know what I mean? Get some rewards and stuff like that. We've had the villain sector, the villain event, which obviously introduced monikers, which did have a cutscene, did have a little bit of story around it, you know, surrounding kind of the actual mission itself. So, if that's the case, I don't think it's going to be like the case of we're going to have an operation with Spider-Man. I think it is going to be as simple as, like, maybe 1 or 2 missions, and, like, the cutscenes aren't going to be, like, crazy. They're going to be, like, war table chatter. But we don't know that, like, you know, and if they do go full normal hero effort with Spider-Man, then GG for that, because, like, you know, that's a lot of, you know, great effort for a character that is going to be exclusive. Will it fall back and bite them on the arse? I don't know. It won't for me. I'm buzzing about it, but obviously, you know, it's not just up to me. Matlack then went on to give fans a further glimpse at details of the game's first ever raid, in which players will battle with Claw, the primary villain of the Marvel's Avengers last expansion, War for Wakanda. As part of the discussion, Matlack reassured fans that while the raid may feature some similar environments, it will be a unique experience. Now, what I think that means for people that are a little bit confused is that I think that's essentially going to mean that it will be like in the Vibranium mines, but it won't be built the same. Do you know what I mean? The setup is going to be different. It's going to have like a different vibe to it. It's kind of the impression that I get. And hopefully it's different enough to warrant sort of saying, oh, it's this big different experience, this big crazy out there mental mission, you know what I mean? So hopefully that is the case. And I do believe the rest of this article is just essentially, you know, talking about the situation. And that's about it, yeah. Cool. So, there you go. So, obviously, you know, Spider-Man being introduced with sort of cutscenes and a story. I do believe we kind of already had an idea that it'd have quite a self-contained story. One that wouldn't necessarily affect the main narrative. Kind of be its own side piece, which obviously makes a lot of sense. It would be quite interesting, though, that if they are explaining this as an event, like, oh, he comes with stories, cutscenes, will he have a villain? Now, that's quite an interesting one. I don't believe he will. I do think that this is one of those occasions where, like, you know how, like, you know, obviously CD sometimes struggle with their wording and stuff like that. I do think, though, that in this very case, I think Spider-Man is, like, the lowest expectations you could possibly have. Not their fault. Nothing they've said. Nothing anyone said. I just think it's genuinely, like, you know, if you expect Spider-Man to be on par to, like, I don't know, Black Panther, Kate Bishop, Clint, you might be disappointed in that regard, story-wise, right? But if they do a mission chain, you get a cool nameplate, there's a couple of little mini, you know, cutscenes in there, that'll blast my expectations out the water, and that'll be awesome. I'm just looking forward to jumping in this game as Spider-Man and getting all that stuff sorted, and obviously the raid sounds really cool as well. I would imagine my prediction is they come as a bundle. So on a week of, like, I don't know, November, December. I do believe November. just because of the way the roadmap's loaded out. It's just my own headcanon, is that Spider-Man and the Raid will come out on a Tuesday, and then the event for Spider-Man will release on a Thursday. But obviously, if he's saying it will be like a story in that, then maybe that's not the case. But again, Red Room Takeover had a bit of a story to it, and it was just mission chains and stuff like that, and it wasn't a cutscene. But obviously, in this case, there are cutscenes. We need more details, man. I think that's what we need. Do you know what I mean? And like, I understand that, you know, we're still a bit away from potentially him being released, because I don't see him coming out in October. But at the same time, you know, you started advertising Black Panther 4 months in advance, so, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. But either way, I'm just, you know, I'm incredibly excited about being able to jump in as my favorite wall crawler. I think, you know, I was asked this the other day on stream by Tricks Ridiculous, like, oh, who are you gonna play as for the raid? And if my prediction is right, I am genuinely gonna grind up Spider-Man, so that the first character I play in that raid is Spider-Man. So if you're going on matchmaking that day, then expect to see me pop up as Spider-Man at 150 ready to go. I'll see you guys in a bit. Let me know what you think about all this, and cheers.